Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, January 24th, 2021. Chelsea is so tired of the Adam, Sharon, Chelsea love triangle that she groans out loud. Ugh. That's exactly how I feel too. Me and Chelsea are so on the same page here. Yeah. Sharon stops by the penthouse this week to check on Adam, to bring him some books. The Kama Sutra, 50 Shades of Grey, the Bible for later. And oh boy, oh boy, if looks could kill, Sharon would have been dead on the floor. For someone who had a stroke and can't speak, Chelsea sure said a lot with her eyes. And also a voiceover. A voiceover! Now we are talking. Now we are getting soapy. There is nothing soapier than the coma or the stroke patient voiceover. We are in soap land officially. Chelsea's eyes are so piercing, so glaring, that even Sharon realizes that Chelsea is upset. She said, I gotta get out of here. This is too much for me. So Sharon slips away, but then later, Chelsea can't get it out of her head. Chelsea imagines Sharon coming back to the penthouse to play kissy face with her man right in front of her. Ooh. You better believe that Chelsea is about to have a speedy recovery now. Sharon playing kissy face with Adam is all the motivation that Chelsea needs to kick off those kids or to use those kids to kick Sharon's butt, one or the other. Oh. Chelsea's white, sensible canvas shoes paired with a brown velour jumpsuit. That was the fashion statement of the week. Wouldn't you agree? I often ask myself, could I become a matching velour jumpsuit kind of gal? And I just don't think I can pull it off. But Chelsea looked great. She's going to need all of the feel-good that she can muster because her doctor specialist has just informed Adam that Chelsea's problem is only part physical. There seems to be something emotional that's creating a block in her recovery. She might be able to benefit from some psychological counseling. Some psychological counseling. See, guys? See? I was right. This is exactly why I can't invest myself too much emotionally in Chelsea's stroke. Because, look, it's just being used to push a plot to get Sharon into that penthouse to drive Chelsea crazy. And there is no way that Adam should even consider letting Sharon counsel Chelsea. But Whereas Sharon gets that sense that Chelsea doesn't want her there. Adam's like, no, it's fine. Chelsea likes you, Sharon. No problem here. Sharon just wants to help. If there was no problem here, then why is Sharon hiding it from Ray? Oh, Sharon couldn't hide the big bouquet of flowers that Adam sent to her house. Not even in a vase, by the way. Not like an arrangement like you would send to a friend. He sent a bouquet. He sent a bouquet of flowers just so that Ray could be standing there holding them like a bridesmaid when they arrived. Ray could have been the bridesmaid at Adam and Sharon's wedding. No. A simple thank you for the books would have sufficed. Who sends flowers in exchange for a stack of books? I don't think so. Oh, but Sharon reassures Ray that she's all his. They just got back from their honeymoon. Of course she's committed to him. But then she lies to him when he catches her clacking away on her laptop, researching Chelsea's condition. She closes the laptop real quick when Ray arrives, tells him that she's researching a Valentine's Day trip for them. Lies, lies, lies. On day 2 of their marriage. Oh, but leave it to Sharon to get to the heart of what's going on with Faith. Now, here is where I felt so grateful, so satiated by what Sharon had to offer. Just, what a long way Sharon has come. Can we acknowledge that for a minute? From back in the days when Sharon was totally unhinged, stealing things. Now she's Genoa City's wisest old owl, seeking advice from Genoa City's drunkest old owl, Nikki. Can you believe that? Friends, ask yourself 20 years ago if you would ever have seen Nikki and Sharon chatting casually at Crimson Lights, fully supporting one another in friendship and in family. I wouldn't have believed it. Well, whenever there's a child drinking in Genoa City, I'm flashing back to Reed. Whenever there is a child drinking in Genoa City, all you have to do is put out the old bat signal and Nikki will be there. Speaking to the dangers of alcoholism, I was definitely getting very special episode vibes from that conversation between Sharon and Nikki. I was getting after school special vibes, like let's hit all the highlights of the statistics of teen drinking. Okay, but the problem is Faith is already onto the whole thing. Faith is smarter than the average teen, let's be honest. The second Sharon suggests that Faith might spend a little time with Nikki, Faith knows what it's all about. She gets completely defensive and declares that she doesn't need a grandma chat and she doesn't need counseling either. Oh yeah, that's right. I overheard everything you and Dad were talking about last week, Mom. I feel for Faith. Everything that Sharon said to Nikki was so understandable. It made everything with Faith that's been going on with Faith click with me. And Faith, in response to Sharon, says, I'm just a normal person who's had a very bad year. And Faith just wants to be left alone to do her thing. But the problem is her thing is destructive. She still needs her parents. She still needs her family. And Faith's thing always involves Jordan. And Sharon was so smart to sniff out the fact that Jordan is the common denominator in all of Faith's misfit adventures. that Jordan is older and that Faith is impressed with her. That is a great way of putting it, that Faith is impressed with Jordan. She's kind of taken with her. She's kind of looking up to her and just going along. That is a great analysis right there by Dr. Sharon. And now, Dr. Sharon needs to spend a little bit more of her free time figuring out what's really going on with her daughter, helping her daughter through what she's going through, and a little less time making Chelsea's eyeballs pop out of her head. Abby's doctor tells her that her previous miscarriage left her with uterine scarring that was so extensive that she will never have a baby. There's simply no chance. Not even one little nook of an area where an egg could implant. No chance at all. Victor even hires 2 other specialists to review Abby's case, getting Abby's hopes up in his very Victor-like way, declaring that there's always a way to win. But both of the specialists confirm everything that the first doctor told Abby, and all of this just left Abby feeling more hopeless than ever. Chance feared that would happen. Chance right away didn't really appreciate Victor inserting himself into the situation, and I really appreciated that Chance wasn't afraid to stand up to Victor about that later on, after Abby had left. Chance and Victor actually talked it out, both of them acknowledging that they care about Abby and just coming together in a very supportive way. Everybody just wants Abby to be okay. And this week, what she needed was some time alone, just to process what had happened. I get that. Even if she just wanted to be crying alone in a hotel room by herself, I get that. I also really get why this is so impactful to, well, anyone, but specifically to Abby as part of the evolution of her character. Abby has been burned so many times by relationships and by life. And because of that, for a long time, Abby just saw herself as a career-only girl. If I can't have a relationship, I'm just going to focus on my career and I'm going to be super successful at that. And that's all she saw herself doing until she didn't. Until all of that changed. She met Chance and she changed. She started believing that a happy ending could be possible for her. And it is. I mean, it still is. She eventually came around to the idea that she can still have her happy ending. It just may not look exactly how she thought it would. That's very true to life. A lot of times we don't get exactly what we thought we were going to get, but what we end up with is satisfying and good. I love these deep character study episodes that this writing team has been giving to us. We had that one with Billy a few weeks ago when he was in jail, and we were just like, I don't know, we just digging into these characters' pasts and to their connections to the past. That's what I want. I mean, it's really utilizing Y&R's deep, rich history. And Abby had a waking nightmare moment where she imagined Nikki and Victor dining out at Society. It was a nightmare, so they didn't realize she was there. They were just casually talking about her while she was in the background in black and white, listening to their conversation. It was a cool effect. It was a split screen. Abby was in black and white. Victor and Nikki were in color. I really liked that. It pulled focus to where it needed to be while moving Abby into the background. That was a wonderful, wonderful moment. And Nikki and Victor, we're talking about Max. This is what we needed to hear. This was the situation that we needed a refresher on. Max was Abby's stepson who didn't like her. He wanted Abby out of his father's life. That was Stitch, when Abby was married to Stitch. She had gotten pregnant, and Max, just from my memory, set up a tripwire. I think the little boy set up a tripwire on the stairs of the athletic club. Abby comes walking down the stairs, hits the tripwire, and it causes her to fall down and to miscarry the baby. And that's how we got here with the extensive uterine scarring. But Nikki and Victor also mentioned Abby's mom, Ashley, and how Ashley had a mental breakdown after her miscarriage of Robert. We saw some scenes of that during the classic episodes. Ashley was hallucinating that the baby didn't die. She was thinking he was still alive, going through the motions as if the baby was still alive. She was carrying around an empty blanket even for a while. It was awful. It was so relevant to bring up, too. It was just so awful. And now Abby feels awful. And, when Abby said, "I can't do what other women can," my heart just went out to her. I can't do what other women can. Just letting that sink in. Because I'm sure every woman has felt that way about something. It's a very human emotion in general. Men and women. Feeling like you can't measure up. Everybody's been there. Ugh. But that special episode eventually went from bad to good. Abby's dreams went from bad to good. That episode ended with her dreaming that she was comforting her baby. And even though she didn't say anything, I got the idea that she was having a sense of satisfaction that she was finally there with her baby. And then she went home to Chance, who was impatiently maybe, giving her the space to work it all out. But she came home to him and she promised him that they were going to have a family. That there would be a little girl or little boy who would call them Mommy and Daddy. And I really laughed when she also promised Chance that she was going to be researching her options, but he's going to have to bear with her because she's probably going to get all Abby on it. She's probably going to get way too into it. She's going to be asking way too many questions, overthinking the whole thing, going full tilt. And in that way, that moment was so very amusing and identifiable to me too. But hey, we got here. It took, a week's time? But we have now found out that Abby is not going to be able to carry her own child, so they say. But she's come full circle into realizing that she has options. Ugh. But what options will she choose? Sweet Traci was very upset by what's going on with her niece. I love the moment when she approached Abby saying something like, "Hey, I would never presume to walk in my sister's shoes." Ashley has a scientific mind, so Ashley would be thinking about this from a scientific angle. But maybe sometimes you just need someone to tell you that it's all going to be okay. And that's where I come in. Traci was a good mom. Traci loved and lost her child. And I thought it was actually a really fun notion when Traci later told Jack about how if Colleen had lived, she might have been a grandmother by now. Oh, no doubt. Traci would have been the best grandma. Ugh. But yeah, Jack sees that Traci's upset about something, so he badgers her into revealing what was going on with Abby, but only so that he doesn't open up his big mouth and stick his foot in it around Abby. Once again, that was so wise of Traci, because couldn't you just see Jack bumping into Abby tomorrow and ask how the baby making is going? Great scene. Just great scene between Jack and Traci. Again, we're seeing this theme of we're the old guard. We're here to pass the torch to the younger generation. We're here to help guide them through their problems. And here Jack is sounding just like John Abbott. What would Smilin' Jack have said about that? Oh, well, according to Traci, younger, wilder, Smilin' Jack would have loved it. All Jack ever really wanted was to be like his father. Ah! That is so good. Whoever had the sensibility to write that piece of dialogue, I would like to buy them a cup of tea or coffee, their choice, because that was a real great moment of the week for me. Nikki and Victor are having these old guard moments too. It's really nice to see Victor and Nikki fully nestled in to the support role for their family. That's exactly where I want them to. In the Catherine zone. They're in the Catherine zone. And it was only a couple of years ago that Victor had become the plot tool of choice. Anything shady that happened in Genoa City, it always led back to Victor. No more. No more. Victor is taking care of Abby and Adam, while Nikki's taking care of Nick and Victoria and their families. They're dividing and conquering. And it's like Jack and Lauren have been saying, these kids have so many problems, just like we used to. Who would have thought that we would become the role models? Victoria makes a point to return Billy's tablet right in front of Lily. Oh, how smooth of you, Victoria. They had their little family night together, and oops, Billy forgot his tablet. So Victoria will just go ahead and make a special stop to Lily's office to return that tablet to him. Lily saw right through it, of course. Lily thinks that Victoria misses Billy and doesn't really like her. To which Billy tells Lily that he's pretty sure Victoria doesn't want him back. I don't know about that. But I think that Billy just has tunnel vision for Lily. Victoria is in his rearview mirror, and all he sees now is Lily, Lily, Lily. Billy tells Lily that he's falling in love with her and wants her to meet his kids. It seems early, doesn't it? Is it early for that? It's a little early for I love you. Couldn't help but notice that Lily was dancing around, not returning the sentiment. Not that I think Lily doesn't feel exactly the same way. I just think she's coming off of her marriage and she was very serious about it. And I just think she's being extra protective with her heart, whereas Billy's a little more free with his heart. I'm sure that Victoria would have continued to cause trouble for Billy and Lily if we had gotten a full 5 episodes. I feel like we got cut off on this story for the week because Nikki tells Victoria that she wants both of them to go to Hawaii to sign some papers for a business deal that Nikki has closed. Wow. Man, free vacation to Hawaii? Well, Victoria would rather stay in cold Genoa City with a big pile of paperwork to keep her warm. She'd rather stay in Genoa City with her 2 screaming kids thinking about her screwy ex. We just can't have her screwy ex moving on with someone else. Can't have her screwy ex moving on with a woman who's younger and freer and possibly more alluring. Hell no, Hawaii. Victoria's got to stay in Genoa City to guard Billy. Oh. Yeah, Billy and Lily are deep into their romance, and they are deep into their jobs at Chance.com. Nate accepts the job as spokesman for Ask MD Now. Lily got him a branded white lab coat with the Ask MD Now logo on it. Great. Now I would like to see Nate wearing the lab coat with no pants on. Please. Is that too much to ask? Please. Maybe a calendar shoot. Sexy Dr. Calendar shoot. The Men of Genoa City. I think Y&R did a Men of Genoa City calendar back in the day. Can we get one of those going? Maybe I need to make that. Well, I have to tell you, I need to eat my words right now because I was very critical of Chance.com and the whole idea of Chance.com a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, Ask MD Now too, could throw that in that bucket. I was just very critical of the whole thing, but I'm now very glad that Y&R has found a way to fold this Ask MD Now website thing into multiple areas of the show. It gives Lily and Billy something other than their relationship to talk about. It gives Nate a purpose. And we saw Chance using the website to research Abby's fertility issues. So yeah, I'm for it. Ask MD Now also gave Nate a chance to ask Lily now about her relationship with Billy. Nate apparently was the last person to know that Lily and Billy are seeing each other, and he was the last person in line to offer his opinion about it. Not that it really matters all that much to Lily. Nate was definitely not shy about letting Lily know that Billy was having an emotional affair on Victoria with Amanda. So I guess we were wrong. Maybe Lily didn't need more information about what happened with Billy, Victoria, and Amanda. She just didn't care. Because Victoria alluded to it to Lily a couple of weeks ago, and she never followed up on it. And I thought, oh, well, this is a gap in the writing or something. No, Lily just doesn't care. She was very quick to tell Nate that she knows that Billy has a checkered past, but she believes he's changed. She appreciates that he's been honest with her about the things that have come up, so she's not going to hold it against him. All right. I'm going to hold you to that then, Lily, because you never know what other skeletons could come creaking out of Billy's closet. After you've been kidnapped and held hostage over his gambling debts, you might feel a little bit differently. But then again, that's what happened to Victoria, and she's still ready to come back for more. Two weeks ago, we had the pleasure of experiencing Nate in a bath towel. And this week, Y&R switched it up and gave us Nate in a bath bathrobe. See, this is the kind of nuance that I've been looking for on this show. Finally, someone who understands what I want. Nate in various states of undress. Woo woo. Thank ya. White bath towel, white bathrobe, white lab coat. It just all suits him so nice. Nate and Elena are regularly meeting at the Grand Phoenix to get it on in a hotel room because his house is undergoing a renovation. Okay. So, Y&R has given us the excuse about where Nate's house went, but is there any chance that the house actually will be renovated and that we will see it? Maybe Moses can live part-time with Nate and part-time with Devon. I love that idea, and I love that Moses is coming to town to carry on the Winter's legacy. Hell yeah. I miss Neil. Sometimes I just sit and think, gosh, I miss Neil. And I still want Neil to have plenty of connections to the current show. In fact, it was a really nice moment where Lily told Devon, hey, at this time last year, I thought that our little Winters family was splintered, and now look at us. We're growing, and there's more of us than ever. Yes, yes, yes. Well, back to Nate in the bathrobe. Elena was maybe not as impressed with that as I was because, she was too busy dreaming about Devon. Couldn't fully appreciate Nate in the bathrobe because she was too busy dreaming about Devon. Oh, this is not looking good for Nate. Not at all. I mean, I didn't expect Elena's feelings for Devon to disappear overnight. That would kind of invalidate the importance of the relationship that they did have. But then again, in soap world, sometimes those feelings do disappear overnight. So I wouldn't have been surprised if she was all in on Nate and never thought about Devon again, but that's not what's happening. Elena is still dreaming of Devon, even as she's in the hotel room with Nate. And even as Devon and Amanda are insisting that they're not dating, but then a couple scenes later, Devon asks Amanda out on an official date. Although that doesn't make full sense to me. I thought Devon and Amanda already had an official first date. Didn't Devon try to get them into the fancy French restaurant, but then they ended up having margaritas and Chinese food in his penthouse instead? The Y&R B&B crossover that I was in so much anticipation of, it was a bit of a bust, to be fully honest with you. Not much happened of note on the B&B episodes. Like, you totally could have skipped those. It wouldn't have mattered hardly at all. There was one awesome moment, though, on Monday that made the whole thing worth it because Summer meets Bill Spencer. Yes, 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 yes. Bill Spencer, played by none other than one of People magazine's most beautiful people of 1990, Don Diamont, known to vintage Y&R viewers as Brad Carlton. Yeah. And of course, the scene started with him in his office with his shirt off. He was working out, you guys. He was just working out. He's in his office with his shirt off, and then Summer steps in. I mean, at age 58, I'm sorry, Don Diamond still makes my heart race. Ooh. I should tell my family if there is ever a suspicious-looking limo parked up at the Casey's gas station up the road in my little small town, y'all just better say goodbye to me because I'm gone. I'm gone forever. It's me and Don Diamont till the end of time. You would never see me again. I hop in his limo, we ride away. Goodbye, rest of the world. And dare I say, I like him better on The Bold and the Beautiful. Yes, that's right, I said it. I like him better on B&B because B&B realized his full potential and gave him a better part. If you don't watch Bold and the Beautiful, you need to know Don Diamont is the man of that show. He is the reason to watch. And he had this adorable tongue-in-cheek exchange with Summer when she asked him if he'd ever been to Genoa City. And he responded that, he had passed through. And then she asked if he would ever come to Genoa City again. And he said he had no plans to. But wouldn't it blow my mind to see Don Diamont as Bill Spencer walking through the Genoa City revolving door? Oh, that would make my year. Utilizing this cast as if it were one cast is brilliant. I just hope that it doesn't become one show someday. And that's the only thing that nags at the back of my mind about this crossover. Other than that, it was a big old bucket of boring. Summer's meeting with the peeps at Spencer Publications to blah, blah, blah JCV. And more importantly, she's just there to fish around for info about Sally Spectra. Wyatt Spencer gives Summer pretty much nothing, but Flo wants to talk. Flo's the girl that was in between and the object of Sally's jealousy, I suppose. And Flo certainly couldn't wait to get the scoop out to Summer, but that didn't even happen until the final episode of the crossover, which was on Y&R on Friday because of the preemption. So Flo revealed Sally's dirty laundry list to Summer, but she was so matter-of-fact about it. It didn't play like a big bombshell the way I was hoping for. And I don't know if maybe it's because I already knew it all because I was watching during that time, but it just didn't play that shocking to me. Did it for you? For you guys who don't watch Bold and the Beautiful regularly? I don't know. I did absolutely adore Summer's passive-aggressive social media post. Taking a selfie, giving a smug smile with Flo waving in the background. That was deliciously catty. But aside from that, the whole thing just made me feel a little sorry for Sally. And I'm thinking this might be a good place for a poll this week. What do you think? Summer versus Sally. Who are you rooting for? YRChat.com. That's where you can cast your vote. Are you feeling like Summer's being a little overbearing on this whole thing? Leave the gal alone? Or are you rooting for Summer to bust Sally and expose her and create some drama? Let me know what you're thinking. Summer versus Sally. Whose side are you on? Gosh, I don't know. While Summer was taking her smug selfie in LA, Sally was back in Genoa City, desperately pitching an idea for the JCV fashion line, with Jack watching the whole thing from the bleachers, waving the giant Sally's #1 foam finger. And see, Sally's got some powerful allies in Genoa City now. Jack and Lauren are on her side. Solidly. They both want her to succeed. So I don't think there's anything that Summer can tell them that's going to make a difference. It doesn't matter how many people she screwed over in LA. Nobody will care until she's screwed over someone in Genoa City. The one and only thing that Flo had to say that I took special note of was how Sally has a way with men. Sally has a way of fooling otherwise intelligent men into supporting her. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on with Jack. And what I want more than anything is for Mama Glow to break that spell. Gloria's home! Ding dong, it's Gloria at the door. Somebody whip it open and invite her in. Mama's come home! And she's going to be living with Kevin and Chloe. I'm sure Kevin is thinking, why couldn't I just live at the Grand Phoenix like everyone else in this town? If I lived at the hotel, then I could just get Gloria a separate room and this wouldn't be a problem for me. But no, Gloria thinks that Kevin owes her in exchange for destroying the flash drive evidence that she claims she was in possession of in order to help the Newman family, maybe in exchange for a handsome reward. Yeah, sure. Gosh, I wish that embezzlement story would have been juicier. It just fizzled. But I'm willing to forget about it because it caused Gloria to lose her job, and that brought her back to Genoa City, and you better believe she took special note of the red head that Jack was talking to. She honed in on Jack and clocked Sally right away, and I laughed when Sally asked Jack who Gloria was, and he said, it's a long story. Yeah, Jack, it's kind of a long story. That lady Gloria, well, she's kind of my ex-stepmother slash ex-lover. Now, Sally Spectra is certainly not the only one in this town who is no stranger to scandal. Oh, but at the end of the day, don't fight the insanity, join it. That is one of my favorite Who Said It quotes ever. I need to make sure to remember to use that in my daily life. Don't fight the insanity, join it. The answer was Tessa. Quite a few of you guys guessed it right. It was a great line, so maybe that's why more people honed in on it. It was Jamie, Nancy, Mark, Henry, Sherrod, Michelle, Victoria, Cherie, Nia, Colleen, and Daisy. You guys didn't fight the insanity. You just jumped right in on it. Well, let's pick a new quote for the week. How about this from our 4 episodes? Secrets and lies are a classic defense mechanism. How about that? Secrets and lies are a classic defense mechanism. Yeah, I'd say so. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, then I will give you your shout out during next Sunday's Y&R Chat. Let's take a quick look at just a few comments this week, shall we? Starting out with Colleen, who says, I love Sally's sleek new look. She went from 80s hairband to sophisticated professional. I did notice Sally's new hair, Colleen. It was very nice. I kind of like her curly hair, but it was nice to see it sleek and straight, and she was looking very pro for her business pitch to Lauren. Daisy predicts, I'm going to guess that Sally will be jealous when Jack speaks with Summer and praises her for a job well done in LA. And then she might just get panicked if Jack listens to when Summer tells him the truth about Sally. She might just seek revenge. Oh, so you think that, Daisy, that Jack is going to be open ears for the scoop Summer comes back to Genoa City with. I was kind of seeing it in the opposite way. I don't think it's a slam dunk that Jack will be praising of Summer, maybe on the job, yes, but not on her little digging of dirt on Sally. I think that it's a real possibility that Jack is not going to be open to Summer dishing the dirt on Sally. I think that Summer, in order to get what she wants, is going to have to play this just right, or it will backfire on her. I mean, one way or the other. I think that we're working on developing empathy for Sally. She's just starting to find a little home in Genoa City, just starting to make some friends, just starting to get the thing that she wants the most. And Summer's going to come back with this bombshell info. I think Jack and Lauren are going to want to protect Sally a little bit. I think they're going to see Summer as having the upper hand, having more than Sally, and not thinking it's very becoming of Summer to be trying to rock Sally's world right now. Well, Superplex says Jack swooned by Gloria as she's acting as his savior in the process. Is this the love for Jack, Superplex, and everyone? Because I feel hopeful that it might be. How long is Judith Chapman going to be filming scenes for? She said she's home. She's told Kevin she's looking for a job. She's supposedly living with him. So are we going to see more of Gloria? And is it a coincidence that her second scene was a scene with Jack and taking note of this new girl who Jack was chitty-chatting with at the bar? I don't think so. I think we are finally getting here back to Jack and Gloria. It works great for both of those characters, in my opinion anyway. I know there's some people who don't want to see that pairing. Maybe that's a future poll for us. Sandra says, I'm just thinking the writers might save some of the future mushy scenes for when the actors can actually be close to each other. Maybe the writers could focus on business adventures and mysteries until the virus and the vaccinations are more under control. Who wants to see heartbroken Abby comforted by her newlywed husband from across the room? And Traci is a hugger, yet she stood behind a chair offering words of encouragement. It's just hard to really get into a scene with all this distance between everyone. I'm missing the physical expression of the love, the kisses, the hand-holding, the hugs. I know. We're getting some of that back, though. I really think we are. I had commented at the website this past week that Devon and Amanda were strolling around his apartment after her bad situation turned out with Naya. But someone else chimed in and said, well, they hugged, actually. And now that I think about it, I do remember that scene. It was right after Amanda got back from Wilmette. She came to Devon's condo, and she just embraced him. So we did have a hug there. So what is the combination of elements to why they got to hug, but then Traci and Abby did not get to hug? I'm not sure about that, but I think you make an interesting point that maybe the writers could focus on something a little less intimate, something where intimacy is not as crucial until we get to a point where we can get back to the kisses and the hugs and the hand holding and all that good stuff. We gotta be getting there soon. I can feel it. It's strange. I guess it's not bothering me as much. Maybe I'm just happy to have the show. Maybe I don't know. The lack of intimacy hasn't been as glaring to me, but that's just me. I think that the Abby situation certainly calls for some intimacy, especially between her and her husband. Well, on that topic, Sherrod says, for the first time in my 40-something years of watching soaps, I was taken out of the pretend world and brought into the real world when I watched Mariah and Abby's conversation. I say that because I know Cameron Grimes and Melissa Ordway are great friends in real life, and this is a true experience that Melissa went through. I truly felt those exchange of words between them. Oh, I didn't know that they're real life great friends. That's interesting to note. Maybe again, that's why Y&R seems to be writing scenes that have made them closer than I would expect them to be. Abby and Mariah, I didn't know were great friends. It kind of seems like a friendship that came out of left field, and maybe it's because the actresses are close. But yes, it was a very good scene between them. It's nice that Abby has someone who's not her husband to confide in. Sometimes you need someone who's a little more third party, someone who you can just vent to. And for Abby, for one reason or another, that is Mariah right now. Henry says Mariah will be the surrogate for Abby and Chance. I have a strong feeling about that. I've picked up a few good vibes. Tessa and Mariah were talking about having kids. Mariah showing so much concern toward Abby, and Chance and others talking about other options. But I haven't heard the word adoption mentioned yet. I'm just saying. Ooh, Henry, that is a really interesting observation that the word adoption has not come up yet. It's all been options. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. Now, I'll tell you what, this is a comment from Gary that really stuck with me as soon as I heard it. Gary said, when on the topic of surrogacy, originally my mind went to Tessa being the surrogate, but I don't know why. See, okay, Gary, I know you don't think this anymore, but this would be a great twist on a twist because it defies the expectation. Everyone is assuming that Mariah will be Abby's surrogate because they're so close. But if it were Tessa, it adds a layer of complication for Mariah and Tessa's relationship because Mariah would be asking Tessa to do this for her friend. Or Tessa could volunteer. Either way, if Tessa were the surrogate, it puts Tessa into the Y&R spotlight instead of letting Mariah soak all of it up. It's always Mariah, Mariah, Mariah. But what about Tessa? Gary goes on to say, of course it'll be our lead character, Mariah, though, who possesses the heart of her mother, says Ray. Tessa's hardly in town, and that was such an awkward giveaway in the midst of Abby's talk of motherhood. Mariah and Tessa were asked if they wanted children, and they went completely blank, as if the idea never occurred to either of them. Mariah and Tessa may think girls just want to have fun right now, but at the end of a long 9-month pregnancy, they will want to keep the baby as their own. This is actually a perfect story for Mariah and Tessa, who, as everyone knows, desperately need one to carry them through the rest of the year. It fits the ambassadors of goodwill like a glove, and now we know why Abby's inability to conceive was so rushed barely after the honeymoon. It's not a condition for them. It's a plot with lots of action ahead. Let's get started, says Y&R. Gary, you nailed that. It is about Abby's emotional journey, but it is a plot. And not only is it a plot for Abby, but it's a plot for Mariah and Tessa, which, as you say, is much needed. I'm just not wholly convinced that Mariah is the slam dunk surrogate. I mean, yeah, Mariah is the one who's always on our screens more often, but I don't think there's any reason it couldn't be Tessa instead. I'd kind of rather see Tessa for a while. Give Tessa some story. Give her something to do. It's Mariah, Mariah, Mariah all the time. Let's see some Tessa. And also, I mean, I don't think that Tessa traveling for work is something that they can't write around. I'm confused about Tessa's level of fame anyway. Like, at first, she's doing huge shows with, what's her ex-boyfriend? Can't think of his name. Travis. It starts with a T. What the heck's his name? Oh, well, first she's doing big shows with him. Then she comes back and it seems like she's just writing songs on the fire escape and playing here and there at little gigs. Then she's off to New York City for the midnight show at Madison Square Garden. I mean, I don't know how busy Tessa is, but I'm sure that the writers could work around it to give her some story. Tanner! Tanner Watts. That's his name. Don't wear it out. Twyla says they could use a surrogate with Abby's egg and Chance's sperm, although they also transplant uteruses nowadays. Whoa, seriously? A uterine transplant? Is that real? Wow, how much does that cost? That's got to be insanely expensive. Transplanting a whole uterus? I'm sure Victor Newman could afford it. No doubt about it. Victor Newman could afford it. Abby could get the procedure done at the Victor Newman Center for Uterine Transplants and carry her own baby. I kind of like that idea too. There's some drama there. There's some plot there. Oh, other related topics. Victoria says, Phyllis giving Abby a hard time checking in was just the diversion that Abby needed to focus her disappointment on something else. Phyllis pried to find the truth, as she always does. And then when she realized Abby was really hurting, she shooed her away with a free room. Yes, Victoria. Phyllis is she's like a bull in a china shop. She's always smashing around and she uses her bull ways and her bull muscles to get what she wants. But then she has wonderful moments of humanity where she just realized that she was poking the wrong spot. She was poking a sore, and that wasn't her intention. Phyllis doesn't intend for Abby to hurt. They've not gotten along. They've had some disputes. They've definitely had some disputes. But at the end of the day, I liked that scene showed Phyllis having some heart, extending that to Abby, and just comping her the free room. That's what she needed, and it was something that Phyllis could provide. Well, Leslie says, I love the scenes with Chance and Victor. I don't remember Victor ever liking his kids' spouses, or if he has, this is the best relationship that he's ever had with one. I think so too, Leslie. I don't think Victor has ever liked and gotten along with a spouse of one of his children as much as Chance and in those scenes. I think it's simply, yes, Chance is great. He's a great guy. But I think it's also just that Victor is in this totally different place in his life. And even Nikki was remarking on that. Victor probably thought retirement was going to look totally different. And here he is. And that's the same thing that Abby's realizing. Hey, I thought life was going to look this way, but you know what? It's this, and that will be fine too. Lots of good scenes this week between characters. Lots of good dialogue between characters. I feel that Y&R is moving into that direction with a lot of different places. I think this writing team is still struggling to find the right balance between character and plot. And while I don't think we're there yet, I do think we're moving in the right direction. Diana says, I really enjoyed the scene where Chelsea is imagining Sharon showing up at the apartment to lend her support to Adam and Chelsea's forced to watch Adam show his appreciation for Sharon's concern as he strokes her face and kisses her. Chelsea, who cannot move or speak, watches this intimate moment from across the room, frozen in her wheelchair, but finds enough strength to shout out a sound in disgust. It was good drama. Good drama, no doubt about it, Diana. That was probably the scene of the week for sure. I wouldn't have expected that this was going to take this exact direction and not this quickly, I wonder how long we're going to have to watch Chelsea be tortured by her own mind. I mean, this is going on in her mind. How long is it going to go on this way? And Ellen asks, are they going to pretend that Sharon, with her MSW and no client experience and huge personal conflicts of interest, is the right person to help Chelsea? Nah, they wouldn't. Right? Right? Oh no, that's exactly what they're going to do. Nailed it. I think we can all see the writing on the wall. Or they're playing into our expectations and they'll rip that rug out from under us. I don't know. But Daisy says, if that happens, if Sharon becomes Chelsea's counselor, then I would hope that Chloe would throw Sharon out, give Adam a piece of her mind, and call Chelsea's mother to help. Oh, yeah. And that was another frustrating scene too with Chloe and Chelsea. And Chelsea's just desperately wishing that Chloe could read her mind. Come on, Chloe, not even read my mind, read my eyes. And Chloe just couldn't do it. And she could tell that Chelsea was upset, but she didn't know why. But that's a really good point. Maybe Chloe will find a way to become the conduit. Throw Sharon out, give Adam a piece of her mind, and call Chelsea's mother to help. Oh, Daisy, you want to see Chelsea's mom? Yeah, where is Chelsea's mom? It does seem like she would want to be all up in it. I kind of like Anita. She's sort of like Gloria in that nosy, over-the-top, brash, broad kind of way, and I liked her. I wouldn't mind seeing her come back. It would make sense that she would definitely want to be all up in this, especially since Anita always really liked Adam, or she liked his last name. Well, here's another theory from Leslie. Are we going to have a situation where Chelsea regains abilities and fakes still being immobile? She could go to hurt Sharon, setting up Adam in her anger, and nobody would suspect her thinking that she couldn't physically do it. Oh, so you think that Chelsea is going to get better, not tell anyone, do something to Sharon, and set Adam up for it, and nobody would think it was catatonic Chelsea over in the corner? That's a possibility. I mean, Chelsea did seem like she was mad at Sharon, but she seemed mad at Adam too. That he wasn't picking up, like he shouldn't be doing it. Like she felt that he was betraying her by letting Sharon through the door. But I think Adam is trying very hard to help Chelsea. I don't think that he's seeing this as in any way. I don't think in Adam's mind he's still thinking about Sharon in a romantic way. I really think that Adam has put all of his focus onto Chelsea. And Superplex asks, is Adam thinking about hiring Dr. Nate to do a striptease for Chelsea? Well, now that's what I call physical therapy. Let's get some healing done. I think that is a great idea. It is interesting that Adam texted Nate after this specialist suggested that Chelsea might need some emotional help or some emotional support or some counseling. I am surprised that his first choice wasn't Sharon, but maybe it's that we need to not see Adam doing that. Maybe the audience needs to not see that in order to keep being on Adam's side and keep believing that he's just helping Chelsea. If Adam just runs to Sharon, then it just makes the love for Chelsea seem less special, and his desire to help her, that just seems less special, like he feels trapped by Chelsea. And I don't think that's the intention that the writers and Y&R's trying to show us. But I'm also not really sure what Nate's going to offer. Nate and Adam, I mean, when they met at the hospital, it wasn't exactly hostile, but Adam was definitely like, no thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to take Victor's specialist. But, I mean, Nate still wanted to help, and I think it's great that Adam's reaching out. I mean, he's got to reach out to somebody, and I think the audience needs to see him reaching out to Nate rather than to Sharon. So probably what's going to happen is that Nate is going to then recommend a specialist who can talk or who can help with Chelsea's emotional element, and he'll probably flip open the book and see Sharon there. So probably Nate's going to tell him to go see Sharon or something. I really feel like Sharon is going to be put into this story, and I think that it's more than likely not going to necessarily just be Adam who's going to do it. There has to be someone else there pushing him to do that or suggesting that he would do that, because he's got to know that that's bad news. Sandra says, I'm a little surprised by Adam defending Sharon's visit. I think Sharon showing up at the apartment was way overstepping the line. She went there to be nosy and to see for herself what state Chelsea was in. The bag of books was just an excuse. Adam frequents Crimson Lights. Sharon could have left the bag with Adam's name on it behind the counter. No doubt, Sandra. Sharon's being nosy. Nobody's asked her to look into this. She's just taken it upon herself, and she's putting her own marriage in jeopardy to do it. Not that I think Ray's gonna fall apart, but why lie? If everything's okay, why lie? I mean, Ray said, I trust you, I just don't trust him. So Sharon has no reason to lie here unless she knows what she's doing is a little bit wrong. Sherrod says Sharon's choice to go into that home was wrong. It has nothing to do with her big heart, as Ray likes to say, which brings me to the conversation that Nick had with Mariah when saying that she's like her mother. These two ladies make decisions within the context of their relationships without communicating to their partners and then expect to be understood as to why they did it, even if they're wrong. Yeah, Sherrod. And on top of that, Sharon's lying to Ray about it. A lie of omission is still a lie. Oh boy, what a tangled web we weave. Well, let's talk about our poll question from last week. Do you want to see more of Naya and Amani? I'm wondering if you guys are kind of excited to potentially get some new blood in here. 64% said, yeah, sure. Let's see more of Naya and Amani. Let's dig in. 36% of you saying, no thanks, not interested. Couple comments here, one from Lisa115 saying, I voted yes to wanting to see more Naya and Amani, but only if Naya warms up a bit. Michelle Morgan's acting has been phenomenal, but I don't think my heart can take any more of Naya as the ice queen of mothers. It broke my heart for Amanda. I think she would. I think if Naya came, I think she would get to know Amanda and she would start to develop those mom feelings for her. I mean, even if you don't raise your child from birth, I would imagine that there would still be some kind of instinct, some sort of unbreakable, unspoken, unseen bond with your daughter, even if you didn't meet your daughter until she was fully grown up. Jamie says, I want to see Amanda knock Imani down a few pegs. As of now, I'm not liking Imani at all. She comes across as stuck up, selfish, cold, entitled, and downright bitchy. You nailed that, Jamie. I think I'd rather see Naya rather than Imani, but again, they seem like a package deal. I would take Naya over Imani, but I feel like if we get Naya, we have to take Imani too. Southside Granny says, both of them seemed out of place to me. Maybe after the dust settles, the mother can make appearances, but I just thought, blah. It's hard to get into new characters, no doubt about it. And we certainly didn't see the best sides of Naya and Imani. I think we probably saw some of their worst qualities shining through from what we've seen of them so far. But still, it's interesting that the majority of people are in favor of seeing them more. Maybe it goes good, maybe it goes bad, but people seem to be open to the idea of getting to know them. Well, Leslie says, Lily was so cute teasing Devon about Amanda. I can't believe how much more I'm liking her character. Yeah, Leslie. I mean, it's like Lily's a different person. That cute little scene where she's teasing Devon saying, oh, I know you're thinking about Amanda. And she's floating out of the society restaurant. I mean, I've said it before, but I have to say it again. To my own chagrin, was getting rid of Kane the best thing that happened to Lily? I think perhaps. Well, let's end on this nice comment from Ellen, who says, occasionally I venture out into the wider soap world to see what folks have to say about Y&R. It's nasty out there. We are very lucky to have a seasoned and wise moderator in Allie, and our discussions are much more interesting and definitely more fun than anything I've seen elsewhere. Y&R Chat is the place for the cool kids, or are we the nerds? Don't care. I really like it here. Well, I like it here too, you guys, and this is the very essence of Y&R Chat. So thank you for validating me in that. It's like Y&R fans, and I'm putting the word fans in quotes, they're vicious. And you're right, it's just like anger and rude comments, and you're not really getting a good discussion outside of Y&R Chat. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to toot my own horn in any way. It's just that the whole reason that I have this here was that I just wanted to have a nice and meaningful conversation about the show. And when you do venture out into that wider Y&R fan base, it's so negative and it's so one-liner and it's not thoughtful. So it's just not good. It's not positive. It's not fun. Nobody's having fun. Everybody is just complaining. And I didn't want that. I actually wanted to just talk about the show because I care about it. I've never understood why fans, and it's not just Y&R. I mean, anything. I mean, you better believe Star Trek, Star Wars, any show that's big and has legs and's been around a while and has a lot of stuff, has tons of fans, and they're probably all critical. It's probably nasty in any fan base you pick. Y&R's no different. It's just that Y&R's my thing. And I just wanted to I care about it, so I wanted to have a really good conversation about it. And occasionally, these vicious fans come out in droves just to be vicious. And then I spend all week moderating those comments, trying to keep them off the Y&R Chat website, because it's like, don't come and give me just like your snarko one-liner comment. Like, if you've got something of value to add, then that's great. But occasionally it's like, for some reason, honestly, Y&R fans are riled up right now, and I don't know why. I've spent the whole week moderating comments, rejecting account requests, because I'm not just gonna approve people who I don't know. Like, if you're giving me good comments and I can see kind of what you're bringing, then yeah, I get an account. But like, I don't know, nobody reads, nobody cares, all that's put out there, and it's just like all of a sudden, in droves, people come out to complain, and there's something that's going on with the show right now that's just extra this week. I don't know what it is. I mean, for crying out loud, do you have any idea how many comments that I moderated out this week that were simply about the woman who's walking around in the green dress at the Grand Phoenix Hotel? So many, dozens. And it's no one specific, because I know a couple of our regulars noted that too. So it's not about you and your comment. It's literally everyone else. People I don't know, never heard of. They just decided they want to talk about this woman walking around in the background at the Grand Phoenix. Like, dudes, she's been there for months. She's been walking around for months, and for some reason, we have reached critical mass on Green Dress Girl at the Grand Phoenix, and now this week, everybody's got to get a word in about it. Same thing happened with Nikki's hair when we came back from the classics. Everybody sees Nikki's hair, and then they got to find a place to say how bad it is. Well, I'm happy to report that Nikki's hair is looking better than ever. Take that, internet. Oh, well, believe it or not, this is actually a very relaxing, very wonderful day for me. You may have noticed if you're watching the video that I am not with you in video form today. The picture is current, the picture is today, but I am just here sitting at my desk with my microphone because, hallelujah, thank you, Mommy, my daughter is at her grandma's house. Normally, my daughter is not around when I'm doing Y&R Chat, but for the last 3 weeks in a row, I've had to have her here with me and real close with me while I'm trying to do Y&R Chat. So my attention has been very divided for the last 3 weeks. So I do apologize if anyone has noticed, but I've been like cramming Y&R Chat in, trying to get everything done. I've been spending way more time with a toddler than I really would like to. Like 90% of my conversations are with a 4-year-old, and I've definitely hit my point. I don't like to ask for help with her, but I've definitely hit my point of I need a break. So today the kid is with grandma, and I said to myself, I am just going to sit down with my microphone at my desk, and I'm going to try to do a nice leisurely Y&R Chat that I can enjoy. I'm just going to be able to look out my window and enjoy the melting snow and my beautiful trees and have a cup of tea. Now, this is crazy. I think it was Ellen, actually, who said at the website earlier this week that the brownies at Crimson Lights have become the new hibiscus tea. And while I decided to treat myself, considering it's been so much child lately, I decided to treat myself to a tea sampler from the Republic of Tea, and they sent me some free samples along with my sampler. And the one I've chosen for Y&R Chat today is called Blueberry Lavender Tea. Now, normally I don't like to drink flower. I don't want to drink flowers. Flowers don't belong in my mouth. They belong in aromatic up my nose. But this one is blueberry lavender, and I said, all right, it was free. I'll try it. And it has hibiscus in it. It's delicious. I've been so critical of the hibiscus tea, and yet it's absolutely delicious. It is violet hued. It's an herbal infusion containing a proprietary blend of botanicals, including blue butterfly pea flower, hibiscus, and juicy blueberry, and calming lavender. It was surprisingly good from the Republic of Tea, blueberry lavender tea. So I've been drinking this new tea and having my Y&R Chat and just trying to zen myself out. I may have to do this again in another couple weeks. I just, it's nice to be able to close my eyes and think about Y&R Chat. Like my eyes have just been closed, and then I just get into my little zone and chat about the show, and sometimes I remember things, and it's just kind of pleasurable to be able to kick back and not have to think too much about whether there's lipstick on my teeth. Ugh. Oh, but daughter's gone. She's going to be gone for a little while still, and I've still got some alone time that I can have. There's just when you got a little one, there's nothing like having an empty house where I can have a little bit of silence for a minute, have a tea, and just enjoy the things that I enjoy. Let this moment be about me a little bit, because I put a lot of effort into all things daughter. And it's been extra hard lately. So that's it. That's all. I'm having a good day. The sun's been out, and I'm feeling pretty positive about, in general, where Y&R is at and where it's headed for 2021. I've been enjoying chiming in at the website and talking with you guys a little bit. I hope you come back next week to see me again. And in the meantime, just go to yrchat.com, leave your comments, and it's fun to check in during the week there and see what the chat is, because the people who are the regulars, like, I know you guys are bringing perspectives. You're not just giving me zinger one-liner saying that somebody's ugly or their hair is bad, or I've had people just comment about the smallest things, just nitpicking apart the characters and the actors, and it's like, man, you just need to have some blueberry lavender tea and kick back and enjoy the show, and that's what I'm here to help y'all do. Okay, everybody. I sure love you. I sure appreciate you being here, and I will see you again next Sunday. Have a good week. Bye.